Welcome to Adventures of Kendall. And today's adventure will take us to Palos Verdes to check out the Point Vicente Lighthouse. It's gonna be a fun day learning about this kind of structure and having a fun time while doing so. So let's get going and check out the Point Vicente Lighthouse. Now today was a special treat. Normally, the Point Vicente facility would be closed off to the public. However, today was a special open house where visitors could learn about this location. So today was a real treat to check out the Point Vicente Lighthouse. Built in 1926, the Point Vicente Lighthouse stands at 68 feet tall and sits on a 130-foot cliff on a 14-acre property. There are 79 steps to the top of the lighthouse, the history of which is quite fascinating. The name Point Vicente came from Captain George Vancouver, an English explorer who named the place after his friend Friar Vicente of Mission Buenaventura in 1793. Later in 1933, the Pacific Geographic Society changed the name of this location to Point Vicente. Built in March 1926, this lighthouse is an important landmark and beacon light relied on thousands of ships and pleasure craft, especially for those approaching the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, even during an age with GPS. It should be noted that lighthouses, especially those along the California coast, have a unique design which helps out ships identifying a particular location. This explains the varying designs that you'd see when you're visiting these lighthouses. At first, this location was operated and maintained by the U.S. Lighthouse Service. 13 years later, it was taken over by the U.S. Coast Guard, which delegated all aid to navigation responsibilities in 1939. This lighthouse was manned until 1971, when it was then automated by remote electronic aids to navigation and monetary system. This lighthouse is one of the most photographed in the world and has been featured in movies and TV shows such as Pearl Harbor, Dunkirk, and the original Wonder Woman series. It was also featured in an Olivia Newton-John music video. The site was also graced by President Nixon when he arrived by helicopter in 1971. 8 years later, the lighthouse was added to the National Register of Historic Places. Today, this lighthouse is still part of the U.S. Coastal Service, which means it's normally closed off to the public. However, as stated earlier, today was a special open house for visitors to check out the facility. However, certain buildings were roped off, such as the actual lighthouse and the keeper's quarters. This was due to the asbestos and lead paint these buildings have. One place we can check out is the display center. Originally, this building housed the engine, compressor, and air tank, which operated the foghorn. The Coast Guard Auxiliary turned this building into a display center in 1992. Inside this display center, there are wonderful artifacts relating to the United States Coast Guard. Whether it's their collection of flags, beacons, and lights, scale models, including this of the Point Vicente Lighthouse itself, and a collection of movie paraphernalia depicting the films that showcase the U.S. Coast Guard. This is a great collection of U.S. Coast Guard paraphernalia. One of the fun things you can do here is interact with a telegram machine or telegraph. Using this guide, you can tap out any message you want in Morse code. Of course, there are other things to check out here at Point Vicente, including this magnificent view of the Pacific Ocean. During our time here at Point Vicente, we've decided to talk with Captain Ludit. Howdy, I'm with
Captain Kip Ludit. I am a Coast Guard auxiliarist, and we are here at the Point Vicente Lighthouse in Palos Verdes, California.
What's so special about this place? Is there a story behind it?
Well, the story behind it is if you go back to 1926, so 99 years ago, there was enough traffic coming into LA and Long Beach that they decided they needed a lighthouse here along the coast. Point Vicente sticks out further than anywhere else on the Palos Verdes Peninsula, so ships running the coast, if they didn't run aground here, they wouldn't run aground somewhere else. Second, this is the main approach light for the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, and has been blinking every night for the past 99 years to keep the marine transportation system safe and effective.
Were there any significant events that happened here?
Not happened here. There was a case of a vessel named the Dominator that ran aground up the coast, but it was in fog in an era before radar, so not really associated with the lighthouse. Here, it's actually been a good thing that there haven't been any incidents. That said, and here, the big thing again for your viewers would be this still remains an active aid to navigation that flashes every night, because even in a GPS world, the ships like the fact that there's a visual reference that they can have. They've been at sea for 2 weeks crossing the Pacific, and they want to make sure that their equipment is aligned properly. So in the daytime, they can see the white conical tower that's on their chart, and at night they can see the 2 white flashes every 20 seconds that's also on their chart.
Do you got any special connection to this place?
Yes, we do. So I was on active duty in the Coast Guard for 30 wonderful years, 3 of which, 2004 to 2007. We lived here in what was originally one of the keeper's quarters, but after the lighthouse was automated, Coast Guard families stationed in the local area could live in the homes. So when we got here, my daughter was 2, my son was 4, and it's not everywhere you can say to a 2-year-old and 4-year-old, go out and play on 17 acres that I didn't have to mow. If we fast forward to today, it's a group of volunteer Coast Guard auxiliarists, so we're not paid. We've partnered with the what is now called Scouting America, which is the former Boy Scouts. So you saw 2 of my scouts here helping be docents, and we run this open house program second Saturday of every month of the year. So I encourage your viewers to check us out. And one thing that we're a victim of is deterioration. So because the keeper's quarters, for example, are no longer needed as housing, the Coast Guard has abandoned them. And the same thing with the Foghorn building. The Coast Guard abandoned it because there's no Foghorn anymore. So a community group called Friends of the Coast Guard Point Vicente Lighthouse has formed to try to raise money to rehab the tower so we can open it again for tours, because it has lead paint and asbestos, which is bad for your lungs and your blood, and rehab the building so they could be reused for something else.
Well, that's quite an adventure. I can't wait to see what you guys will do in the next few years.
Well, thank you for that, and we hope we're successful too.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
And that was our adventure at the Point Vicente Lighthouse. I hope you had a good time and can't wait for more adventures. Well, see you later, folks, and may your gifts bless the world.